Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of most awaited show. Actually, hii show nimefikiria kuihusu like for the last 3 weeks. Yes, like, and I want really to thank you for getting time to join us today. This is the makers of the music industry, uh, episode 1. And in today's episode, the person we want to talk about is somebody who have really made a serious impact in the music industry. So, without any further ado, first of all, let me give shout outs to the people who have enabled us to have a very good shooting location. That is St. Paul's University. We are in a very serene environment. The temperature is fiti, and you can see in my background, it looks the touch of nature, the breath there. Unaona, tunafurahia. Um, Moja kwa moja, let me take you to the birthplace, the place where the character of today or the icon of today was born. I'll take you one moja kwa moja hadi a place known as Kasabuni. Si Kasabuni, hapana, Kasabuni. And at a place in Kasabuni, there's a boy who 36 years ago, he was born to a family. And he was amongst many other brothers, and just like any other slum dwellers, he was subjected to very harsh economical conditions. Na jamaa akaishi huko kwa ghetto, shida ikamjua kwa jina, jamaa akabidi like masomo pia ikakuwa tricky. Along the way mzee yake akakufa akiwa class 7, and then in the process jamaa ikabidi aanze fight for his life, like to survive, and that is so jamaa akaanza ku collect garbage, jamaa akaanza kufanya kazi ya udonda, jamaa akaanza kufanya kazi za kuuza mtumba, like basically was a person who was doing all he can to ensure that he survive. And with the time interest na passion ya muziki ikaingia, and few years later this guy turned out to be one of the greatest icon in the making in the music industry. And that's why in today's episode, we just don't want to just mention this person. We want to also appreciate the person, we want to recognize the person, and we want to make the whole world know that truly, specifically the Kenyan music industry, wouldn't be where it is today if this man wouldn't have shown up in this Kenya, this the face of art, that is. So, who am I talking about? I'm talking about somebody whom to most people, to like if you're born in 2005 onwards, I'm pretty sure you don't know this person. Or even if you know this person, you know him maybe from one of his latest tracks that he released a few weeks back, or you knew him from one of his collabs he did with one of those heavyweight artists, you see? But another thing is that if you are born in the 1980s, going backwards, there's high chances that this is an artist that when the artist was coming up, like when he was an upcoming artist, there's high probability that you didn't like the artist because his way of music, his style of music was a little bit shied upon, because it was like, what is that? Something like that. And that's why you have titled to today's episode is the Godfather of the Gengetone music industry. And all of us know about Gengetone. We know not that one. We know like Queen Bee Machine, the kind of things. When you talk about Gengetone, I know now if you're born to a 5 onwards, you really know akina Kawakadinali, akina this, I don't know, this, that you mentioned it. Comment hapo chini. This gangs, this not gangs, like gangs, like the Chumlo family kind of music they produce. So, in my opinion, I highly suspect, and in today's episode, we are going to confirm and agree together that truly this gentleman, this artist, is truly the godfather of the Gengetone music industry, because he's the person who broke the ceiling, broke the barriers, and told the youths who went on and sang Gengetone that this music really can sell. People can embrace it, because for me, I want to say that this artist in one another He was like a prophet. He was telling us what was going to happen. He was like a prophet who was telling us this thing is happening. It's high time you parents, you accept it and start working towards ensuring that you prepare your children so that they are able to know how to absorb this kind of music. Because initially, back in the days, songs like Gengetone, quote unquote Gengetone, kind of music, these were songs that only played in secrecy, maybe in clubs, in secrecy. People didn't really, it was not played in the mainstream media. But currently, these are songs that even a 50-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old, you find them in the street singing about this. I'm like, wait, when tumefika happy? And I'm like, wait a minute, how did you get here? Why didn't you even read the signs? What was wrong? What is that thing that we missed? And apparently, after our research, we realized this artist in today's episode is one of the very, very first artists whom prepared us indirectly, and is one of the very artists whom set pace, or in other words, he was one of these artists that lay the foundation for the current generation of artists. Okay, I know I've beat around the bush and I'm like, who is this person? Why did you just tell us this person? Well, this person is none other than Timmy Tdat. That's right. Yes. Unaweza kuonyesha picha ya Timmy Tdat for those who don't know Timmy Tdat. Hii side waeke picha yake akiwa na nguo, alafu side waeke akiwa na nguo. People will tell the difference. So the current generation, back in the days, the current generation would really recognize this picture yake akiwa hana nguo. But to the older generation, you see this picture and like, he's not a bad guy. Well, if you don't know Timmy Tdat was not born Timmy Tdat, of course. He was born Timothy Owuor. And I think that's why he got his name Timothy Owuor. And that means growing up in Kayole, being that your father died when you're in class 7, and you don't have a very stable financial income from your family members, and the way he rose to fame and all that stuff, I think it's right to say that Timmy Tdat have earned his spot in today's episode. To just break down to you what Timmy Tdat has done in the music industry for him to be a maker of the music industry. One, he rose to fame. If he first came to the limelight, he produced one of these very, very good songs, which were Wele Wele. That was one of the very first songs that really encouraged to sema ngoma in hit sana. Wele Wele was a big success. It was a big success. Actually, if it was released today, with the kind of reception it got back then in 2014, if I'm not wrong, I will tell that I will confidently say that if it was released today, this song will easily get 100 million views in one day, in 24 hours. I can confidently tell you that. So he did this collab with the gentleman called Rapdamu, whom I want you to find out who is he. And then that song was a success. And then from there, he went on to produce a number of songs, and a number of successful songs that really had a lot of hard time being played on the mainstream media, because they were looked down upon, they were feared, frowned upon, because they were a little bit explicit. And fun fact is that Timmy Tdat is one of those very first artists whom actually their songs were PG rated, parental advisory. Like most of his songs were PG. Currently, Gengetone is PG rated, but he was, and that's why we say that it's a Godfather, because he's one of the very first artists to publicly produce songs that are PG rated. And that's not even the big deal. The big deal is that he produced PG rated content that really had a lot of success. He went on to produce things like Wembe. Wembe is one of the biggest successful songs from this guy. He went on to produce Inje, and I'll tell you a nice story, a certain story about Inje. But before that, he produced another song by the one and only Calligraph Jones. He produced this song Kasabun. Hey Kasabunyu, do you bless me me grow Kasabunyu? Do you bless na come from Kasabuni? And you bless in Anino. Come on, uja do Anita make it bad, you know. That's whereby now people are like, oh, you come from Kasabun, and okay. And even if you look, the reason why is it even more a godfather in this particular industry is because even if you look at the way Timmy Tdat shot his videos, the way what is that? Cinematography. If you look at the cinematography of most of his videos, you realize like the current generation is trying to copy. So this is it. Wele Wele was the very first song that really ilifanya Timmy Tdat akajulikana sana. But besides that, there are other songs that he ended up produce which were big hit in equal measure. So another song that alitoa is Iromo.
Hey,
so they want
and Iromo is a unique song, and besides the fact that Iromo iliweza like Iromo means umetosha, and Iromo was a big success to the extent that even the likes of Bahati, the likes of like so many other artists got a test like, oh, kumbe you can do a vernacular song, you can do a song and you put a bit of your vernacular there na ikitoa ladha fulani tamu na the whole world hata wenye waisikia waifurahie. So Iromo was a very successful song, and it's one of those songs that really paved way for other artists to even produce songs which are more or less similar to that. Another one was Inje. Inje, I said Inje is a special song because the moment actually it was one of the songs I produced was like when it was about to fade out. Like there's a time Timmy Tdat went and was silent for like a whole 2 years, or 3 years if I'm not wrong. So after those couple of years, before that he had produced Inje, and then people were like, Timmy Tdat amewakoka ama what's happening with Timmy Tdat? Because in that song he was like, Sagodi sunifungie Inje blah blah blah. Ebu aweke kidogo asikie. Yeah. So that is Inje. Besides that, he ended up I said that he already produced Wembe, which was a huge success with Otile Brown. Kasabun by Calligraph Jones. He went ahead and currently he has produced a new song. And when I heard of this new song, I was like, wow, this guy is an icon. He's back in the music industry, and actually his song got over 100,000 views. In the first 24 hours of releasing the song. It's something that is not easy to achieve, especially if you're an artist ambayo alikuwa hapo like kitambo, alikuwa anafanya different type of songs, and then kwa kuja and then unapata that kind of view. And that for me was a huge sign that truly this man needs to be celebrated, and his place in the music industry need to be recognized. The other list of songs that another list of songs that produce like Dushinyao, Inje 2, Kichwa, Inje 2, Kichwa 2, Usinikazie, I believe you know Usinikazie, Usinikazie. Like that, huh? So it produced a couple of songs, and over and above all, what I would like to say about Timmy Tdat is the fact that most of these songs, most of these styles, the content he was singing, the content of his music, is lyric ability. If you look at what he did, it was starting and all the way to the time now, he was a full star or a full performing artist. You realize most of those things are things that the current, the modern, the people who are trending right now, the artists who are trending right now, they are either doing something similar to what Timmy Tdat did, or they are doing an improvement of what Timmy Tdat did, or they are doing whatever they are doing because they already Timmy Tdat paved way or broke a certain barrier, broke a certain norm that would produce certain song either played for media or something like that. So for me, that qualifies Timmy Tdat to be a maker of the Gengetone, particularly Gengetone music industry. And today's episode, I would just like to appreciate and salute Timmy Tdat, wherever he is. My brother, you have done us justice in the music industry, because growing up in 2012, in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, there's a way that those songs, as much as they were not being played in the mainstream media, actually people were constantly requesting for those songs. And I'm sure the people in the media industry were really finding, especially in the radio, were finding it hard to play these songs. The songs that really hadn't had any issues or wele, because it was a clean, simple, and the message was. But as he went by producing certain type of songs, it was, you listen to those songs and even watching his video akiwa chestless, akiwa na, actually before that he used to have vest in some of his videos, but along the way akikuja akatoa ana vest, and people are like, mbona unaona mtu ako uchi? Like if you are a child and you're ama the beat ama trace music is on, ama this other the TV station is playing a video of this one of this song, there's high probability that your parent angekuuliza mbona unaona vitu uchi, unaona mtu ako uchi kwa TV, hebu zima hiyo TV haraka ama something like that. You will find yourself in trouble if you are found watching a video from Timmy, because he was shirtless and alikuwa amejipaka mafuta all those stuff and things like that. So being that it broke so many barriers, so many myths, and so many things that were not possible, in this show we like to appreciate Timmy Tdat, we like to salute Timmy Tdat. As much as people will be frowning upon and say, that guy aliharibu watu blah blah blah, I will say he prepared us. He showed that this thing, we're already in that age, because currently a mother, you can easily find a mother singing a certain song which have especially a certain line, you're like, I don't want to mention any songs, but there are certain songs that we even in national radio, in national mainstream media, you find that there is a way they edit that part, the part that, but you find this a scenario whereby a parent, a child sings that part like so loud, and they're like, we are comfortable. So that tells that we're in that generation, we're in that not generation, that we are not in that space and time. And Timmy Tdat is one of those very fast people whom like wanted to prepare indirectly without knowing that this man is preparing us for what is about to happen. So we like to appreciate Timmy Tdat, salute Timmy Tdat, and we will challenge you whom have maybe a negative perspective about Timmy Tdat to go to his channel and just sample some of his music. You can get his music in Spotify, you can get his music in Mudundo. Talking about Mudundo, if you don't know, for those who are a little bit old like me and my senior who is in the other side, there's a time we used to go to cyber. That's right, there's a time we used to go to cyber. Unaekewa ngoma tano for 20 people. This because we couldn't get data, ama we didn't have enough smartphones za kwenda online, za kwenda Mudundo, not online, za kwenda Mudundo to download a song that we love. And imagine, despite those challenges and his equivalent there, Timmy Tdat still went ahead and got one of the highest downloads in Mudundo. Actually got 500,000. Like you can imagine, 500,000 downloads, not 50, not 500, 500,000. That's 500,000 people downloading your content. And that time getting data was a little bit expensive. The cell phone penetration in 2014 and 2014, 2015, 16 compared to now, the cell phone penetration and even the access to the internet currently is a little bit is way much higher, not a little bit, way much higher compared to that time. So being that at that time he got 500, and actually later on when he produced songs like Wembe, he produced songs like Inje, produced songs like Usinikazie, Romo, he went ahead and got the platinum award from Mudundo by when you got 100, when you got 1 million, actually got 1 million downloads from the same platform. And so for us who are still a little bit old, Mudundo was a thing. People currently know Spotify, people currently know Boomplay, but before that, Mudundo was a huge, utawekea logo ya Mudundo hapa, and also kuna link ya Mudundo, so you can go there and look at some of these metrics. So these are some of the information that we feel qualifies Timmy Tdat to be a maker of the music industry. Truly, if you doubt, you can do your own research and find out that truly most of the things that Timmy Tdat did, some of the mistakes that Timmy Tdat did, some of the things that people are frowning or free like walikasirikia Timmy ama wakupenda Timmy because of those alikuwa anafanya, those things are what actually ended up creating ama contributing to creation of a whole new genre called Gengetone in Kenya. And this is a genre that is not found in any other part of Kenya, but any part of the world, but only in Kenya. And it's only right if you give credit where it's due. And truly, Timmy Tdat played a role in the creation or in the birth of Gengetone. and I'm sure even today his new song yenye aliproduce akiwa gym. Actually it was a teaser, how do you call it? It was a visualizer video, it's not the official video. With that video also you can find out like he could a touch of like, because it's a gospel song, yes, but you find it kuna tu venye iko kisasa, and that's another thing that makes Timmy Tdat to have like a versatile. He's a versatile artist, an artist who is anajielewa, artist ambaye anajipush vizuri, and with that I can rightfully say that he deserves a spot as an icon of the music industry. So that is the end of our today's episode. We want to appreciate you for getting time to watch this particular episode. Tell marafiki zako waambie there's a new content in town. It's called Makers of the Music Industry. We are going to talk about so many artists that I'm sure you didn't know maybe certain information about them. Ama uko umesahau muziki yao, ama ulikuwa unafikiria muziki yao ni mbaya, ama like you don't really see their content, like unafikiria maybe you just enjoy their music but you don't know where these people came from. So for instance, somebody like Timmy Tdat, who is currently 36 years old, I'm sure most of you did know that he was born in slums and he's a Luo, and he had a huge success, and things like he was a garbage collector, he was like a conductor, and I really like to appreciate the team that went to production of this particular episode. We are going to do it better, bigger and better next time. You can give us your comments on what you need to improve on. If kama kuna issue you need to improve on, we'll do that. Kama kuna kitu, something unique that you feel like people need to know this about Timmy Tdat, kindly do let us know. Kindly do let us know in the comment section so that people can also know that. And we promise, if this video can get 100 views, we are going to bring Timmy Tdat right here in this show so that he can fill us in all the details that maybe we miss out. Atupeleke one of his like alipataje his first show, one of his best shows ilikuwa ni gani, worst shows, challenges amepitia in the journey, hizo time amepotea, what was happening, akiandika wembe, akiandika ingoma, what was the inspiration behind that, like so many other things that we really like to know from such kind of icons that we want to appreciate today. So this is Makers of the Industry, celebrating the modern icon. Signing out. Bye bye.